this is Kiyra Lynn with Hollywood First Look Features, and today I have MARIKO Carpenter. She is the VP of Strategic Community Alliances at Nielsen, and she's a thought leader and understanding the Asian American consumer group. MARIKO, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
I want for you to explain to our audience what exactly the kind of work that Nielsen does.
Sure. So really, Kira, it's kind of simple. We are a world's largest consumer research company, and we measure people. We measure what did people buy, what their preferences are when they go to the stores, consumer packaged goods, which retail stores they prefer. And we also, on the media side, we measure media, and we are the currency that advertisers and content creators and agencies use to trade media. So you probably have heard us as Nielsen ratings. And that's exactly what we do, is we measure what people are watching, what people are buying, and what people are listening to.
You're a veteran in this industry. I want to know from your perspective how you've seen just the landscape of the industry change towards Asian Americans.
I feel like for a long time, Asian Americans was a consumer group that marketers were a little slow in investing in, right? They'll have a big plan for Hispanics, they'll have a big plan for African Americans, and then when it came down to Asian, it's like, oh, they're in there somewhere. We're talking to them, you know, and that has really started to change. We are the fastest growing Asian community group, ethnic or racial, in this country. So with that growth, we are actually capturing the spotlight in so many more ways. That marketers, it's all about what's next, right? Always being ahead of the trends, and being the young consumer group and very digitally savvy. We are sort of the next group that marketers are paying attention to.
Born and raised in the United States, and it's taken this long for me to even see people who look like me on television. Why do you suppose the change? Why do you suppose the pivot all of a sudden? What exactly happened in American culture that made them start to realize that we were a bona fide important consumer group to be watched?
Yeah, that's really a good question, because if you look at the history of media, there were moments where we were like, oh my God, Twilight Club, and there were these sort of highlights where we thought we were breaking grounds, and then we sort of faded away when it came to media. But really, I think that the digital changed everything. YouTube really changed so much for us as Asian Americans. It's a platform that it democratized content creation. And you had these Asian Americans who really honed that craft of storytelling on YouTube. And, what started out as like just them being, expressing themselves through their storytelling by, capturing their life with their Indian family, or, their Chinese grandma, or whatever it was, or just putting makeup on in the case of Michelle Phan. That really, then they amassed this huge audience, right? And I think it was that audience, the scale of the audience that we were able to sort of draw, that then captured the attention of Hollywood, So it was sort of like a backwards way, but I think our stories were always there. We were just always sort of we were in someone else's narrative. We were sort of either the token character, or growing up, my brother was the kid, Zeta from Goonies. I'm dating myself really way back, but like literally one movie comes out and there's one Asian kid, and like, my brother's identity took on that role forever, but because there was nothing else, forget about TV. So really, I think it was the digital platform that invited Americans into our story, into our world, and they liked it. And so now, it really makes me so happy when I go put on Netflix and they gave me all these recommendations of Asian American led programming because I tend to like those. And you know, to see us being represented in that way really is exciting, very exciting to see.
I know there were some key takeaways from the webinar that I attended. I just want you to quickly touch on those.
It sort of is what we were just talking about. There's this rise in Asian American consciousness. You know, not so long ago, we represented these disparate immigrant groups. When you talked about Asian American, I never identified myself as an Asian American growing up. And now I do, because it is a group, there's a lot of this, we have a solidarity and we've galvanized around our immigrant stories, being bicultural. So there's all this really strong sense of community now that's available, which has opened up a lot of opportunity for marketers. You know, there's a lot of good digital platforms that are out there that they could tap into for Asian community. And, you know, we really this year hone in on two marketing trends. One is the streaming war that's happening out there with the proliferation of content. Like how does one even decide what to watch, Cisse, or where to go to watch what? But Asian Americans are really sort of pace setters there because we are the cord cutters and we are the largest streamers. And we also talk about the gaming industry. Here, I don't know if you know of any gamer, but I have a nephew who's a gamer, and it's like he kept telling me that it's a big thing, you know. But man,
as we speak, my daughter is in the other room playing on her. Trust me, I know.
There you go. I hope she's good, Kiyra, because now colleges are giving out scholarships for gamers. Cool. But it's a really an opportunity for marketers. Yet again, it's a new frontier. You know, when a lot of these streaming platforms, they're not just competing against each other, they're competing for people's time. And I think we're going to see a lot more consumers, you know, tuning into esports and playing games. And so Asian Americans are pace setters there as well.
Obviously, I'm in the entertainment world and have been very invested into seeing, you know, what findings that you guys have been coming up with. So thank you so much for all of the work.
Thank you so much. Thank you.